Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Whew, guys, this is a very serious issue that I want to talk to you guys about today. Um, I had a dream about maybe 3 days ago where a baby don't even look like she was a year old because she was still in diapers. Um, and the way her legs was kicking, when they was changing her diaper, the baby don't even look like she was a year old. She was a toddler, I know, but it don't even look like she was a year old. She was probably close to a year old. And if she was a year old, she's barely a year old. But I don't think she was a year old. And there was the mom changing the diaper, and there were like 3 men in the household. And as the mama was changing the diaper, it was like she noticed that something wasn't right, and she started going off. And then it was like I came in and I interacted. It was like a spiritual vision that God was giving me. And I didn't know these people. It's like and I didn't even sense that I knew the people. It's just that I saw it, and because of my love for children, it was like I began to interact with it as well. But then the grandmother, I don't know if it was on the mama side or the daddy side, but the grandmother came in, and you could visibly see that there was something seriously wrong going on down there as the mama was changing the diaper. And the grandmother said, "Ain't nothing wrong, that's just her." Oh, hell no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. There was something wrong. Yeah. And then the grandmother says, "Well, even if it is, you don't know who doing it." Yeah, Jesus. That's a baby. There were like 3 or 4 men in that household. And whoever doing it, with those men there, everybody will hear that baby screaming out. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if they were all there and everybody said it wasn't them, it was all of them. It was all of them. Okay? Now, I've been wrestling in my spirit about making this video, but because of the way I love children and because of the way things are going on with children today, I decided that I need to make this video. And the way the grandmama came in and said ain't nothing wrong with her, grandma was probably being paid, because you could visually tell that it was something wrong. It wasn't no questions. It wasn't no it could be. It wasn't no maybe. It was, you could really tell that it was something going on down there. Mothers, pay attention to your children from newborn up. And if you got little children, they're able to talk and they running around, hey, and they acting out, even teenagers, even those that's preteen. If they acting out, 1 minute they was just a sweet and kind, and all of a sudden now they just acting ugly, there's something going on. Just because it might not be nobody in the house besides their brother, or it might be they got an uncle or cousin or something in the house. Ain't nobody doing nothing to them, because ain't nobody in the house but me and my cousins, or my brother, or my the older son, or something like that. Let me tell you something. The devil don't discriminate in who he used to do things in that nature. If they're able to be, if the devil is able to access one's mind to do something of that nature, they're going to do it. And if your children are acting out in that way, and they normally wasn't acting out like that, and then all of a sudden they started acting out, you better stop. Take your time. Sit that child down and talk to him. Talk to them. And in my day, when parents assume something like that, they'll tell you, drop your clothes. I need to look. You are their parent. You are their protector. You protect those children at all costs. And then a lot of mothers are allowing men to come into your lives and they mess over your children. And then they end up killing them. Baby, if they don't kill them and they just messing over them, they might as well have killed them because now they messed up in their head for the rest of their life. I'm going through it right now. Beautiful person. Beautiful person she is. But sometimes she has some struggles because she was touched when she was 8 years old. She has struggles. Okay. Some do okay, but some don't. I was touched when I was a kid. I don't struggle. But then I'm blessed, and I know that's a blessing. I know that's a blessing. I had forgot I was even touched until I was what? Until my daughter started going through it. And then I didn't even remember all of the specifics of what happened with me until I was in my 40s. The Father shielded what happened with me. He shut it down. He didn't even allow me to remember it until I was able to deal with it. When my daughter got touched, I remembered that I had been touched when I was 5. But I didn't remember the specifics behind it until I was in my 40s. And that was because I wasn't able to deal with it until then. And the Father shielded me behind it. But God don't bless everybody that way. Mothers, if you have to die to protect your children, then that's just what you have to do. That's just what you have to do. Stop letting these men come into your life and harm your babies. Stop letting them come in your life and harming your babies. God gave them children to you because the sober you, the true you, the you words before you got involved with that man, that boy. Protect your children. It's not when you stand before the Father, you can't say, well, I was scared. No, fear is not even, it's not even a question. Fear is no option. Well, I was on drugs. Drugs is no option. It's not an option. I was on drugs when my daughter was being touched. She came in the room one day and she started acting. I'm like, what is going on? I kind of knew, but I didn't know. When I walked in my room and I found her underwear in my bed up under the blankets when I got off work that night, she was sleeping. I woke up in the sleep. You know how children don't be thinking when they're sleeping. She finally opened up and told me. And then I woke her completely up. And she told me what was going on. I was on drugs. Yes, I was. I was smoking crack cocaine. Yes, I was. That was over, 20-something years ago. But you know what? When that happened, I called out to the Father. And I hadn't even, I wasn't big more thinking about God at that time. I was not thinking about God. But I cried to the Father. I cried out to the Father. Because my baby had been touched. She was not supposed to go through that. She was supposed to go through that. By a man that I thought loved me. By a man that I thought loved my children. Y'all. I am not a witch and I don't know nothing about no witchcraft. Thank you, Lord. But I have been seeing some things on TV. Because that was back during I can't remember that woman name with the psychic tarot card readings. And they was talking about calling out on the 4 elements of the earth, and I did that. The sun, the moon. No, it was the moon, the wind, the earth, and the wind. Wait a minute, the sun? No, it was the moon, the wind, the water, and the earth. And I asked him to take me to where this man was that night. And he did. That spirit, that demonic spirit took me straight to where that man was, him and his friends. I didn't even know that woman. And then on my way back to my body, a demon came after me. And I called out on the Lord, and the Lord intervened, and I never, ever did that crap again. And y'all, I'm telling y'all this because I want y'all to know what I went through, because you mothers do not need to be taking yourself or your children through this. I am not a witch. I do not practice witchcraft. That was the first and the last time I ever did that, because I didn't know any better. But that next day, I didn't hardly get no sleep that night. I had to wait the entire weekend to get at this man. The next day, I went to where my landlord, we was pretty close. She took me to the job where he worked at. He pulled up in that little white car, little Sunfire, with the woman that I saw when I asked the elements to take me to where they was. That was the woman that he was sitting there smoking crack with. And I opened that car door, and I took that box cutter out, and I went to work. I went to work. I didn't kill him. I didn't. But I wanted to. I wanted to. But I didn't. By the time I got to the hospital with my daughter, he was there, talking about I had attacked him. When the police found out what really happened, because I told the nurse what I was there for, and she asked me the name of the person, and I told her the name of the person. And she went across the hall. She said, I think we got somebody here by that name. She went across the hall to that person, and she told the police what was going on. They came over, questioned, and they went and took that man to the jail. He didn't even get seen. They took him straight to jail. Okay? When that police officer brought me a subpoena to go to court because he was pressing charges, talking about I tried to kill him, that police officer gave me that paper in tears. He gave me that paper in tears, y'all. No one should ever have to face that. My daughter now is over 30 years old, and it happened to her when she was 8. And she's still sometimes be troubled with that. She sometimes be troubled with that. And no, it wasn't my fault, but it was. But I did everything I could do behind it. I tried to kill that man. I took her to psychiatrists. I went to psychiatrists. Y'all don't know what these men are doing to your children. I don't care. Fear is not an option, and drugs is not an option. You stand up and you protect your children. You protect your children. Don't ignore. Don't act like you're not seeing what you see. You fight for your children. God put them in your hands for you to take care of them. For you to. And some of you men, your children go through the same thing at the hand of women. You screen them women, and you make sure those women are worthy of being around your children. Some of your friends do this to your children. Make sure your friends are worthy to be around your children. Things are a lot worse now than it was when my child went through it. It is not something that is not easy. It is not logical, and they should not have to face it. There's no excuse. And then when y'all get caught up, and then, like, there's been some women that have went to jail because their boyfriend killed their kid. They knew it was going on and didn't stop him from chastising them. Well, he don't want to take care of them. He's supposed to chastise them. Chastising, yeah, but beating them hell to the no. And then you get there in front of just, well, I ain't had nothing to do with it. Well, you didn't stop it. You have everything to do with it. You the mother. That man ain't got nothing to do with your child. And even if it's their daddy, even if it's their daddy, you do not sit back and let no man kill your child or hurt your child in no manner. You don't do that. You don't do that. You're supposed to be willing to lay your life down for your children. You that parent. If their daddy walked out, you are their support. You see something going on, don't sit back and act like you don't see it because you in love. And there ain't no love, it's lust. Because love ain't gonna let somebody do something bad like that to their children. Love ain't gonna do nothing like that to your children. That's a demonic possession that you going through. Get you and your children away from those demonic possessed people. Get them away from them. There's no excuse. It was one lady in Michigan some years back. The man ended up killing her baby. And he was beating the hell out of her. And he tried to kill her, but she lived. And they wanted to charge that woman. They were wrong. Because that mother right there, she did what she was supposed to do. She was on drugs. He was beating her. He was beating the baby. He ended up killing the baby. And he had left her there for dead too. She was she was asking her neighbors for help any way she could. I can't remember the specifics, but I do know that she was doing what she was supposed to do as a mother to the best of her ability. She had been in that apartment for days. Her parents knew it was something going on. They kept on. They even had the police go. I think what saved her was somebody in her family realized something wasn't right. And they sent the police out there. And the police had to forcefully go in there. And he had beat the hell out that woman. And the baby was dead. Or was dying and died at the hospital. But that mother right there, I don't know if they ended up pressing charges. I know they wanted to press charges on her. But in the end, I don't remember what happened. I probably didn't, because I don't never get the ending of these stories in most cases. But my hat's off to that mother. Yes, she was on drugs, but that man was beating the hell out of her and that child. And she shielded that child with her body. To keep that man from beating the child, he was beating her. She did everything she could do to protect that child. The child didn't make it, but she did. Drugs or no drugs, she knew that man was wrong. She was no match for him. But it was like, if you're going to kill my baby, you're going to kill me too. She did what she was supposed to do. Sometimes these men fool you women. I've been fooled. I've been fooled more than that time. I done been through a whole 7-year abusive relationship with a couple of my kids' dad. Straight up abusive. Until I got tired of being abused. When I got tired, I knew what to do. I knew what to do. And I ran, and he followed. And when he caught me, he ain't bother me no more. I ain't gonna tell you what I did, because then I'd be incriminating myself. But just say he's scared of me till this day. Women, stop letting men destroy your children. When they destroy your children, they are destroying you. They're destroying you and your children. You might have 5 and it's only one that's going through it. But don't you know the other 4 is also being destroyed behind that one being destroyed? Stop. Stand up. Stand up for your children. Screen these men. Make sure these men are who you think they are. I know you got kids and the dad walked away and you just want a relationship. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that. But I am saying screen these men before they even come to your house. Screen these men before they even meet your children. Screen them before they meet your children. Because you don't know what these men are made of. They got the most beautiful smile and got the greatest disposition about themselves. And they just seem like they're just all so wonderful. And the biggest devil that ever walked the earth. Screen them before you let them see your children. Date them. And I ain't saying sleep with them. I'm saying date them for about a year or so. Check their background. And I've never been one to talk about checking people's background. But in today's time, yes, you have to check their background. And I believe in people getting second chances. But when it comes down to today, when people touching children and hurting children, I don't know. You just gotta use your judgment and ask God about it. And let me tell y'all another important factor about the one that touched my child. His daddy was an elder in the church, and he was a drummer. He was a drummer. And he had touched somebody else's kid before he touched my kid. And the woman ended up marrying him after he touched my kid, and he went to jail. And she married him while he was in jail. Came out with her, but then he left her and went to somebody else. Because he just needed her there for the money. She was a fool and continued to be a fool. He had touched her child before he touched my child. And she was pressing charges. She dropped the charges. And her family just beat the hell out of him and put him in the hospital for a few months. And then about a month, about maybe 8 months to a year, a couple of years later, I can't remember when the police officer said, but it was some time after that is when he came to my life and he ended up touching mine. Cute little something too. Yes, he was. Looked like he just stepped off of the GQ magazine. I'm telling you, and he was so mannerable. So mannerable. Churchgoer, drummer at the church. The biggest wolf on the earth. Straight wolf. Ladies, mothers, pay attention. And if you suspect something going on with your children, take them to the doctor. You sit them down and you question them, and you still take them to the doctor and you ask the doctor to look. Even teenagers. Even when you might say, well, they probably are having sex anyway. Because, when the devil is in your house, he come in between you and your children. It's just a spirit just comes with that. They come in between you and your children. And with that spirit in there, you at the daughter and the daughter at you, or you at the son and the son at you, because that hurt that child is going through. And you suspecting it, but you don't want to let go of that whatever you think is good, but it ain't good. The biggest devil ever hit the earth for you. Okay? If you suspect it, or your kid is acting out, baby, lay that little stick down. That stick ain't good enough to take your child's life or your child's future. That cooch ain't good enough to take your child's life or your child's future. It's messing them up. And what I find is children that go through stuff like that, they actually have a purpose in this earth. They have a purpose in this earth, a large purpose. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. They have a purpose in this earth, and the devil sent somebody to destroy it. Don't never be so in love or so penis whipped that you gotta throw your kid to the side. They just acting out. No, they ain't acting out. They acting out because that man doing something. Or he just acting out. No, he acting out because that woman doing something. Or that man doing something to him too. You look, you question, you take them to the doctor. When they start acting like that and there's a man in the house, I don't care if it's their daddy, their older brother, their uncle, their cousin, it don't matter, their stepdad, whoever it is. If kids are acting out and you suspect that, or even if you don't suspect it, and a lot of times you'll see a difference in the way they walk. Don't never put a piece of meat or a little snatch box before your children. They depended on you. God gave them to them, gave you them children for a reason. Don't neglect them. Stop letting your children down. Stop letting yourself down. There's a woman going through it right now where I think the babies, it was a black woman and a white guy. The guy killed her son. That wasn't his son. I think the boy was 4 years old. Happened a year ago. Killed the 4-year-old boy. Left him in the house with the rest of the siblings. Left him in an apartment with the rest of the siblings. Decaying for a year. They left just the kids there by themselves. The oldest one was doing whatever he could do to make sure those little ones were being fed. They wasn't bringing no food back. They wasn't doing nothing. But a year, the body decayed, everything. I forgot how they found out, but I think the oldest one retched out or somebody smelt it and was talking about something stank and whatever. I don't know how it happened. But they went and they found the dude and the woman. And now they in court. And the woman go tell them, well, it ain't my fault. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Well, yes, the hell it is your fault. A year? A year? You mean to tell me you couldn't get to a phone to call the police and tell them what happened? If he was threatening you, you wasn't in his sight no 24/7. If you didn't have a phone, there was somebody around where you could have used their phone. 911. I need you to go to such address really quick. I need to go to such address. I'm scared. I can't. I'm using somebody's phone. I gotta go. Okay, such address. This man killed my child. I'm with him now. He won't let me go. Blah 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 blah. And hang up and go on like you ain't never done nothing. Yes, it is her fault. Yes, she had a lot to do with it. First off, she was wrong to stand there and watch that man beat her child to death. If I have to snatch the kitchen sink out of the damn wall to hit that nigga upside his head, I would have did that. Yes, it was your fault. She had something to do with that. It was her fault. Again, fear is not an option. You see that man beating your child like that? He'd have been wearing something. I'd be the one sitting in prison and he'd be the one dead. Somebody else would be taking care of my kid, but my kid would be alive. The way that baby was being beat. And the rest of the siblings could have said, no, it wasn't mama, it was him. All she had to do was kill that nigga. Right there, lay him out right there. Pick something up and what? Come on now. Yes, it's your fault. Ladies, stop neglecting your children for men. Because if you don't pay for it here on the earth, you're going to pay for it after life. You're going to pay for it. God put them children in your hand, and they are your responsibility. I don't care how old they are, especially these babies and children. And don't never listen to somebody in your family say ain't nothing wrong, because in that dream, and it felt like it felt more like a spiritual journey I was on. And the grandmama coming this time and saying, ain't nothing wrong with her, that's just her. No, you looking dead at your child and you see that ain't just her. And she like she wanted to listen to the mama. You better call that damn police. I don't give a damn about all that. You better call that police. All of them in on it. That's a baby. And if they put that, I wish I could describe what I saw. But I can't describe what I saw. But I'm going to say this. You got 3-4 men in that house, and you don't know who doing it, and everybody saying it ain't me. That's a baby. Anytime you touch that baby in that manner, that baby's screaming. So it wasn't just one, it was all of you. Because you should have heard it. And if you heard it, you should be telling. You ain't telling, it's all of you. It's all of you. Flat out. Stop being deceived. Stop being fooled. You stand up for your children. When God made one little penis, he made another. And the other one's probably better than the one you got. He made one snatch box, he made some more. And that other one's probably better than the one you got. Not just how 10 it is, because the one you got comes with demonic attachments. Save your children. Protect your children. Stop being foolish. Because you're going to pay for it one way or the other. You think God ain't going to protect? You think God is not going to get you about his children? Those are his heritage. Those are his heritage. He going to get you, even if you get God in the earth, he going to get you in the afterlife about what you allowed to happen to his children. Don't you know that? When it happened to mine, I didn't give a damn about going to jail. This nigga must die. I thank God I didn't kill him, because I'll probably still be sitting in jail right now. But I thank God that I didn't kill him. But it ain't because I didn't try. Love your babies. You don't want them. You ain't got time for them. You rather have that man and that man end up at drugs, or that woman end up them drugs over your children. Go give the children to somebody that's gonna take care of them. But don't let them children be being misused. And I'm not gonna say give them to the state, because a lot of times when you put these kids in state, they get more abuse in the state care than they do in anybody else's care. Give it to somebody in your family that you know they're going to take care of them. And I ain't talking no in and out, in and out. You go sign them papers over, complete custody, to grandmama, to mama, to auntie, to somebody that you know is going to really take care of them. Not those ones that's worse than you or just like you. I'm talking somebody, it might be a friend. It's somebody that you know is going to take care of them children. No, I ain't talking about selling them either. Don't do that. Oh, Jesus. No. Give them to somebody that you know is going to take care of them. You want to throw your life away, you throw your life away. But give them children a fighting chance. Give them children a fighting chance. And I also want to say this. When I called out on God that night about what happened to my daughter, I ain't never go back to them drugs. I showed it. After that incident, I was done with that. I was done with that. No. Here come my cousin again with that crap. And I think I hit that thing one more time. And I sat there and I thought about it. And I was looking at my cousin. And I was like, nah. I can't do this. She come back the next night. I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. That's all right. Thank you. Not tonight. Every time she called or came by, not tonight. No, thank you. And I ain't looked back since. And that's okay. Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. And I want to say this, and I'm going to let y'all go. That man provided the drugs. He provided money for the house. Whatever I wanted or the children wanted, he provided. But all at the same time, he was touching my daughter. Everything good ain't good. You paying for it one way or the other, whether you know it or not. Don't do it. Watch over your children or give them to someone to love them and raise them. Give your children a chance at life. You want to throw yours away? Fine, that's yours. But don't do that to God's children. He's gonna tear your ass up in the end. He gonna get you in the end. I promise you that. Protect those children. Protect them at all costs. Protect your children. Okay. Now, with that being said, that dream threw me for a loop, y'all. Yeah, whew, and the way things going on in this world, I'm telling you, it seemed more like a spiritual journey than a dream. So y'all, if that's going on somewhere in somebody's household, I'm telling you right now, you don't listen to that grandmama. You call them police right now. Right now. You call that police and you tell them what is going on. And you tell them what you've seen. And you tell them what you suspect. And you tell them about everybody that is in that household. And you damn sure tell them about what the grandmama of that child said. Because she's got something to do with it as well. Because you could visibly see that something is wrong there. Don't play with the devil, and do not let the devil continue to play with you and your child. He is destroying your child. That child has a purpose. She has a purpose. And the devil is trying to destroy it right now. So with that being said, y'all, I love y'all with the love of Christ. I continue to pray for these children. And every month on the 21st is worldwide prayer for the children and for the earth to be restored. Y'all pray for these children and pray for this earth to be restored. Donald Trump just got in office, y'all. We really need to be praying for America, for real, for real. Okay? Now, again, with that being said, I love y'all with the love of Christ. And until next time, peace, stay blessed.